Now, we hop in game. Last Refuge. Our first map. Starbuck, of course. A tremendous random player decided to play human here, as he does most of the time against Night Elf, I think. And EleGaNt. Not everyone will know. He's not a very active player in tournaments, but has been a household name on the ladder for a long time. Was always considered a very talented player with high potential. Today, this tournament, he's going to try to prove that.
Yeah, EleGaNt, of course, not particularly active in the pro scene at all, but great to see him play in TED Cup here against Starbuck. Personally, I'm very excited for this match. Starbuck versus Kaho last time was such a banger series, showing that Starbuck can hold his own against the Night Elf race. EleGaNt here. Curious to see how they're going to match up against one another. We see the Demon Hunter, of course, on the side of the Elf coming straight towards Starbuck's side there, getting the Ring of Protection for his troubles. Not the best, but a decent starting item. The Footman here to cause a little bit of havoc. Oh, gets ensnared. A little bit unfortunate there for Starbuck, who gets the Gloves of Haste initially the first camp here. Decent start for him.
Yeah, Last Refuge oftentimes a bit of a tricky question. What hero the Night Elf was going to pick, which build. We've all seen the Beastmaster strats before. It's extremely hard to make a fast expansion work against a Beastmaster. Against a Demon Hunter, on paper, it should be a little bit easier. But of course, nowadays, with Immolation, it ain't that easy. Back in the day, before Immolation, Demon Hunter was a pretty damn weak hero against Human. That has, of course, changed a lot. But Starbuck is taking his sweet time, calling the Militia for the green camp, trying to get level 2 before actually taking the natural. This will slow down his expansion attempt.
This may seem like a very small detail, but the Footman going across to harass the Archer here was actually so crucial. It meant that EleGaNt couldn't get level 2 by the time he got over to Starbuck, preventing Starbuck, of course, from summoning another Elemental here. He would have had Mana Burn at his disposal, potentially evasion, but of course Mana Burn can be situationally good as well. And now the Demon Hunter is just stuck on level 1, which doesn't feel as good, unfortunately, for EleGaNt right now. He's already a little bit bruised as well. Starbuck here needs to split well against this. Oh, the Whist didn't actually detonate. That's pretty crucial, actually. This Elemental here will be able to tank up the damage decently well. We see one Peasant going down so far, but otherwise all is looking quite well for this initial harass here for Starbuck.
I like the way Starbuck was doing it quite a lot. Trying to steal the item is the Demon. Oh, he did get it! Claws of Attack. But that might land him in almost a surround. He's going to have to TP out here. May have been a good trade for Starbuck in the end, because now the Demon is gone and he can start the power build. But indeed, quite a few Peasants did die in the end. So I thought initially that this was a really good start for Starbuck. Does he have Formation Toggle on? Oh my god, he does.
He did for a second, yeah. Don't fall into that trap, kids. Formation. Seen it before. It's pretty funny how bad it is. Like, I almost wonder why it exists in the game. You know what I mean? It's such a hindrance.
Yeah, and I think it's turned on by default. I'm pretty sure it is.
It is on by default, so people who are new probably don't even realize that they can disable that or that it's even a problem.
Yeah. Pro tips here from Quberte, guys. Don't play with Formation Toggle on.
The most essential tip, yeah.
This is going to be the first chapter of your YouTube guide series.
Well, basically, yeah, how to get around the Blizzard, like, traps that they've laid out for you, you know, that you can fall into. Oh, nice try by Starbuck here to get the surround on the Demon Hunter. It was very close. But boots on that DH make him very slippery indeed, like an eel.
He's looking for the connection, but this is a pretty good defense so far. Oh, but now he's finding a good surface area. The Peasants are being roasted. The Arcane Tower not in the perfect position, but it does finish in time, and this is a lot of mana burn now. This is the new Arcane Tower that burns a lot. Sure, there's a bit of evasion, but still, mana will be gone. What's the Archmage doing? He woke up the creeps by accident. Oh my god. Starbuck. Sweaty spaghetti. Needs to run back.
Yeah, I think this was kind of the wrong time to head to the shop here, honestly, for Starbuck. A kind of rare mistake, I would say. We see 3 more Peasants going down again on his side. And it's actually now getting into that danger territory where you haven't even got the expansion up as the Human yet. You're struggling for gold to start the tech. And EleGaNt here, I think he could be pretty happy with how this has turned out so far. Full tech ahead.
He still has it on! Right, oh my god! Dude, look at this Archmage.
I hadn't even noticed again, yeah.
That's the water elemental move speed, by the way.
I think
now he turned it off. Oh my god.
There we go.
That's a face palm. Yeah, Starbuck, you know, with a decent start, but honestly, a couple of sloppy moves make this a harder early game than it needed to be. Counterattack now trying to do some counter damage. But the footy count is rather low, so let's see how much this can do. There's still a bunch of moon juice left, but it's going to be daytime soon, and I guess the goal here is to drain all that juice right now, while the Night Elf army is still fairly weak.
I'd have appreciated from Starbuck's side for him to try and cancel the Ancient of Lore, perhaps. Not sure if he's aware of the positioning of that building that was sitting there for the taking. We do have another elemental up shortly, but it's very important for him not to feed this experience right now to the side of the Demon Hunter and Panda. As we know, those heroes in the late game are just an absolute terror against human. Panda, though, is struggling a little bit here, getting damaged quite a lot. The Moonwalls are going to be completely bone dry. And of course, daytime is fast approaching right now. Perhaps Starbuck here is creating enough space for himself. We have tier 2 almost halfway done for him as well. So looking up for the human race right now. Yeah,
I wonder what second hero he's going to choose. I'm really unsure about this question. Like, what is the best second hero for human nowadays in this matchup? Against Demon Hunter, of course.
It's such a tough question because there's so many good heroes, I feel. I think on paper Blood Mage is the strongest if you have the space to level him to level 3. I think that level 2 Flame Strike and Siphon is just so good. You could even go Siphon level 2. And you can go Banish as well, potentially as well. Oh, the Archmage is sort of struggling to let himself through. There we go, taking a ton of damage in the process though from Demon Hunter. This is a little bit funny. I guess EleGaNt is going to get a couple kills before needing to stab a Telly, but this is a crucial space bot for the Panda right now. He's leveling up nicely. And otherwise, of course, I'm sure you could guess Remo is Naga. I would say is the only other option against Demon Hunter, really. MK and Panda just get burned, that's the problem. Otherwise, they're both very good heroes too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some MKs being attempted, but once you see the retrain, then yeah, it can oftentimes be a sad, sad state. Although Bash, you know, in the right moment can make for some plays. It's an Alchemist this time.
That's fun. I feel Alchemist second is really good against Warden, who of course is a hero that we rarely see nowadays at the on the pro stage. He is strong, very good on level 3. Of course, that level 2 heal spray is an insane spell. Heals for so much, and it definitely will help mitigate the Immolation and the Breath of Fire. Obviously, he puts out decent right clicks as well. Acid Bomb is nice too. Also, potentially the bear. Not sure that's going to go too well. Rejuvenation, of course, active. This Archmage is just disintegrating in the face of this Demon Hunter right now.
And the movement by Starbuck is kind of lacking. He's definitely taking too much damage, not just on this occasion, but also before. Yeah, the micro details here. Oh my god, he needs to be fast with the potion.
Really fast, especially with the ping. Oh, nicely done.
And the bear in the main base getting a second rifle here, I believe. Oh, Starbuck, he's feeling the pressure. Things are starting to look a little shaky over here.
Yeah, this is looking super dicey for him right now. I really like EleGaNt's approach. You're just trying to stretch your opponent thin in multiple locations. He was pressuring the Archmage. Of course, Starbuck had to divert his attention to that. Buy a potion last second in case the hero died. In the meantime, he lost track of what was going on in the main base, and we saw so many reinforcements be picked up already. Starbuck, he was supply blocked just there for a second, but we have no more farms to get into low upkeep. We barely have an army, if you could even call it that, for the human right now. Just a bunch of footies and 2 heroes. And EleGaNt here, he could just maintain the pressure, even go for a tier 3 counter expansion right now. I feel like he has all the cards right now, Remo.
In fact, I would have loved to see him go for an expansion earlier. The Demon Hunter could have kept the army busy and the Panda applying pressure where he can. This is a nice base build though. Very hard for the bears here to get into the expansion. And the blacksmith is a really tanky building, by the way. If it's getting repaired, it's very hard to bring down. So the build here is very good. Starbuck though, he's been struggling. This has been not the cleanest of early games. But if he can hold this push, he might be in a good position because there's still no counter expansion for the elf.
Yeah, I'm a little bit perplexed right now as to why EleGaNt hasn't sent out that expansion. It would have come up completely untested. We see how much DPS he is putting into this blacksmith right now. It's still not going down, Remo. You're absolutely right, the blacksmith is made of sterner stuff indeed. I think it's finally going down now though. No more rifleman on the side of Starbuck here. He did queue up another one beforehand, but yeah. This is looking very rough indeed right now for the old Bucky.
And the Night Elf heroes are still pretty weak, but it's about to change. Both gonna get level 3 is gonna be a big upgrade indeed. And if they move beyond that to 4 and 5, that's where things get really dangerous. That's where even a Night Elf can hold on 1 base versus 2. If the heroes can make up for that deficit. Demon Hunter looking for a bit more harass. He knows that since there's no Stormbolt, he can always be safe with the Staff of Teleportation. And is able to find a few more kills here and there. Starbuck, I'm sure he would just love to be left alone, just creep up, macro up, get 70 supply. But EleGaNt is being quite annoying.
Certainly the definition of human life. You want to be left alone for as long as possible, just so you can creep up and get your stuff online. EleGaNt isn't giving Starbuck much space at all. I do feel, though, the level 2 Demon Hunter is a bit of a liability. The Panda did, of course, have space to creep up, buying 2 heal scrolls. Are you going to buy more scrolls even? No, it's off cooldown currently. Now, of course, level 3 Panda is all well and good, but I feel like you also need a strong Demon Hunter in the front line as well to tank the damage. And Starbuck here, he's getting quite a lot of room right now. Does have 2 heal scrolls to his disposal as well, and the level 3 Alchemist is imminent, so potentially Starbuck here is surviving for at least a while longer.
Demon Hunter at the expansion, finding more kills there. EleGaNt is playing this pretty well considering he's playing with an expansion deficit. I feel like he's making the moves. It's oftentimes the way it is in this matchup. The Night Elf is the playmaker, he is the aggressor, and the human, his job is to minimize the damage and work with that strong economy. But the economy has been struggling over and over, and the Demon Hunter is racking up those kills.
Yeah, honestly, sublime play from EleGaNt here, laming the base with the Demon Hunter, then going to the expansion with the DH. I love the Dryads here as well, just to help pick off stragglers. We see the poison damage, of course, from Orb of Venom and the slow poison stacking up, and they're easy pickings for those Dryads. Starbuck here macroing basically as perfectly as he can. Struggling a little bit for lumber, but should have just enough workers to keep production flowing. And EleGaNt, what is his ultimate goal here? He's getting upgrades, staying on 50 food, could have had the expansion ages ago at this point to basically guarantee a free win. And I don't know, I feel like he's slightly opening himself up here to just get overrun by Starbuck eventually.
He's doing good damage, but the thing is, Starbuck, yeah, his income is reduced, but he's still getting income. He's still growing. If Starbuck gets to 75 supply, the Night Elf most likely still loses. Why didn't he expand? He could have expanded so easily. He had the momentum. He had his foot on the pedal. He was keeping Starbuck busy for a solid 4 minutes now. It is a big mystery. Why no expo?
The only thing I can think of is that EleGaNt is relying on being able to break to maybe 70 himself just by banking so much. We see, well, he had for a second the 1k gold at his disposal. Oh, here he is. He's finally breaking now with the fairy dragons as well, which are absolutely huge in the late game here against the human, forcing him to reposition all the time. A Dive of Courage on the side of the Alchemist here. Perfect dive for him, I would say. Of course, we would much prefer an aura. Oh, Starbuck has no TP here, actually. See how much damage EleGaNt could do in the meantime. He's not ready to fight, of course. The Panda here being completely drained of mana. But EleGaNt going for those workers again, trying to get what value he can.
Alright, staff, TP, back home we go. It's gonna force a counter TP right away. And again, so much time being bought. So much time being bought, but not for much. I mean, sure, EleGaNt is gonna max out here once. Well, not exactly max out, but build a big army once. But Starbuck could still overtake him in supply. Could still get up to 80 supply. And the question is also how many heal scrolls will there be? Heal scrolls are extremely important. On both sides, in fact. And I feel like always the big issue with Alchemist second is if you choose this hero, you oftentimes end up lacking damage. Because the second hero for human oftentimes is a big DPS increase. The Alchemist, of course, won't be able to. Just a bit of S-Bomb, but that one is not so impressive. I love Alchemist with tier 3 play, with a third hero play, but doesn't look like that's going to be on the menu here.
EleGaNt continue to be pesky here. Even just the archer in the main base isn't going to accomplish much, but is sort of just adding to that mental frustration that I imagine you'd be feeling as a human player right now. Getting your base attacked constantly. Well, this Alchemist, he has so much mana at his disposal though. As much as he doesn't bring damage to the table, the amount of healing brought to the table to keep this human army as durable as possible is certainly not to be underestimated, Remo.
Oh, why Starbuck backing up? This narrow position down here could have been perfect for a fight against the Bears. Maybe he wants to retrain? Blizzard down here would be glorious.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I feel like we're sorely lacking a Blizzard transition here. The Elementals are not going to be too useful. Oh, another good position potentially. Oh, the Bears are getting all the way in. Wow, the damage in the backline was just absolutely massive. We saw 2 flares come out from those dragons immediately, and you see just how quickly the backline here for Starbuck just disappears. If you even let the sorcerers cast once, they just get absolutely blown up.
Yeah. In the late game, the difficulty for microing the armies perfectly is certainly a lot tougher for the human. For the Night Elf also, you know, especially setting up a really good initial engagement with bears coming in from multiple different angles. That's also something that you have to keep in mind. But yeah, microing this big army as a human perfectly, very difficult. Especially when fairies come into play. I can't believe that EleGaNt has been able to play this mid-game and late-game so well on only one base. He's been doing this really well. Starbuck, though, also has been, you know, showing a few mistakes.
This is definitely not the spot you want to find yourself in as human right now. In the late game, you need those narrow chokes to be able to survive. The Archmage here did retrain to Blizzard. Is kind of a horrible position initially here. Might need to pop that Invul potion. Doesn't want to, though. There we go. Invul is triggered. Blizzard will come in immediately afterwards again. So this open position favors Night Elf so much. All of the bears have concave and able to attack the frontline units, which are footmen. They are disappearing rather quickly indeed. Fairies need to be repositioned a little bit onto the backline here. But I feel like Starbuck here, his army is sort of disappearing here at the front. Oh, the Alchemist here. I mean, he's healing all the time, Remo, but I feel like it's not enough to keep the army going.
A few micro bugs again on the Archmage, getting blocked by his own units. This AM hasn't been in the perfect spot all the time this game. This is a good Blizzard, though, onto many of the bears. But so much of the army has already disappeared. I think EleGaNt is going to bring this one on home. Now the militia call is being added. AM trying to escape to the back of the base. The peasant trying to save him. Okay, that was a sick move. But maybe not good enough.
A little bit of time. Heal spray over the trees, or over the farms rather. Nice to see. Oh, actually.
Priest, heal. Priest, heal.
Wow.
I've been seeing too many humans with priest on A-click, by the way. Like on attack.
Yeah, that's kind of odd, right? If you aim move them, they should heal the nearest target nearby, so I guess they are right-clicked, which is odd. Okay, yeah. Starbuck, that was a precarious position to say the least. Nearly losing the Archmage, but just managing to keep it going there. That was a nice save.
And EleGaNt just simply still doesn't have an expansion. Maybe his philosophy is just pump everything into army, keep the human busy, rely on strong heroes, and then keep battling and, you know, trade better until the mains run out and then the Tree of Eternity walks over. Because, like, there's no way this is the ideal strat, though. Like, he could have expanded so many times over so easily.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I feel like it's relying on Starbuck making too many mistakes. We've seen Starbuck get caught in various open positions, which is very unfavorable for human. If he had the ability to just fight in a choke, I don't see a world in which EleGaNt actually wins fight straight up. Perhaps he can still pick off a couple units and then teleport out and save all of his units. We see that he has preserved his army very well, of course, running on one base economy. But this long and lock keep still at 76 foot is rather nice. A GNL bear goes down to the creeps though. Damn.
Yikes. It's a bit of a sad one. Oh my god, the fairies. The fairies here in the perfect spot. Oh, one of them almost getting taken out. This could be a great position for Starbuck here. In this narrow spot between the trees. But the fairies make things difficult.
That's the thing, these bears are an absolute terror in the open field. You see how many of them there are at this moment in time. But if you fight in a choke, they can't all attack at once. And that's where human definitely has the advantage there with the better balance of units that they have, having ranged and somewhat semi-ranged melee units as well. It's definitely helpful for fighting in chokes. That Galore continues here as well. Important item drop potentially. Let's see what it's going to be. Hood of Cunning. Not fantastic. Unfortunately, Starbuck here getting two of the stat items. Oh, weird position right now. I like the flank here. Demons are coming from the back.
Oh, Archmage! He's surrounded!
Archmage is trapped!
Oh, the bears. Good movement on them. They weren't just on A-click, weren't just running into the breakers, but rather trying to get into the back and find a fortuitous surround on the AM. That's, of course, an enormous kill. Lots of experience going to the Night Elf. Panda almost 5. There it is. And this is the end. Starbuck, despite being up a base for so long, not able to deal with the big threat of Panda, Bears, and Demon Hunter. A lot of it was bad positioning on the AM and movement, I have to say. Sorry to be so blunt, but this could have been a lot better. And Alchemist second, I'm not sold. I still am not sold.
Info being passed here to the last second to keep the Archmage alive. Panda is in a little bit of trouble. Actually, both heroes from EleGaNt here in some trouble, but the army stands tall. And the trouble from running away from Elf is they have so many ways to kill your units as you run away, of course. And Starbuck here down to 66 food. EleGaNt, yeah, one base for the entire game, and he's still 80 supply Remo. I guess we shouldn't have questioned his technique.
There was also a misrally. The gyros were set up at the top left, and Breaker and Sorks were also up there. Starbuck gets... This looks like a game before the warm-up game. You know, or a game without a warm-up game, rather. There were a lot of things not going well together. We've seen Starbuck play way better before. I remember games, especially in the Warcraft Champions Finals, where he was super on point, was even intercepting, you know, staff immolation plays with Militia, was catching everything, was on point everywhere. Here, this first map, not his best showing.
Yep, unfortunately not. This feels like a bit of a death sentence here for Starbuck in this corner. It's pretty much do or die right now for him. Can he make the choke work in his favor? See the level 3 Breath of Fire just absolutely decimating those gyros. 2 of them are already dead. Those fairies need to die right now. The Blizzard needs work overtime here in order to kill these bears, but they are just marching forward. Oh my gosh, everything died so fast.
Alright, quick guessing game. Who's gonna have the most damage in this game? Well, definitely not the Alchemist.
Panda.
It's the Demon Hunter with
No way.
18,600, more than 4k ahead of the Panda. I guess the Panda really contributed most in the end.
Yeah, I guess of course the Demon Hunter, right? The damage counts for all the creeps that are killed in the early game, the damage, the trading. So, yeah. The Demon Hunter does rack up a few thousand very quickly at the start of each game, against human in particular.
He certainly does. Yeah, a bit worrying here to see Starbuck, despite a decent early, like he was just making so many small mistakes. He was, I almost want to say, not fast enough. Like he was a few seconds late everywhere, as if he was a 200 APM gamer like me. You know, I know exactly what that feels like. But normally Starbuck is a little more impressive than that. I don't want to just badmouth him all day, but that's because I know his potential and he can play it so much better. But yeah, I think EleGaNt, like execution-wise, this was really solid. The choice not to expand, I think, was still quite silly, but he was making plays, he was finding weaknesses, he was exploiting everything that he could, and yeah, this is what a high-level elf looks like.
Definitely take notes, guys. Take notes and apply it to your games, because there's so many good things these players are doing. Just fundamental tricks and kind of techniques that are helping them to get advantages where they can. I think one thing that EleGaNt did really well was always catching Starbuck in a bad position. And the thing is, if you're not already ready as a human to fight, you don't have time to reposition when the bears are on top of you, the demon hunters on top of you, Dryad's slow. It just makes repositioning a complete nightmare. And I feel like that's definitely one weakness there for human. They need to always be in a good position to start the fight.
Oh, and the game was started so fast I didn't even get in, so I'm gonna use Flow TV, but we don't even have a delay. Very good. Ted.
Oh, there's no
the
delay.
Boss.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What a man.
And map 2 will be Autumn Leaves. A map where normally we always see a keeper, but I feel like EleGaNt is that sort of night elf that, you know, does whatever he feels is best. Like, I remember in the midst of the keeper hunts meta against Orc, he was always playing Talon still. And he's really good with Talons. And Hitman kept messaging me, Talons are OP, Talons are OP, Talons are unbeatable. So sometimes this man does what he wants and not what the meta wants.
I think it's good definitely to focus on your own style and not necessarily adhere to all the meta strategies, or at least if you follow the, you know, the skeleton of the meta strategy and then adapt it in the way that you want to play it, I think is perfectly fine too, when you're skilled enough to do so.
A player's forces are under
All right.
attack.
Let's see where we're at, because I am slightly ahead of you, of course, still.
Yeah, it's a Mountain King, baby. MK choice here by Starbuck. It's been very fashionable lately, especially in the hands of Sock. It's been looking really good. And like I said earlier, almost everybody plays Keeper on this map, but guess what, EleGaNt? He's not going for the natural creep. He's not going for a Keeper, he's going for a Demon Hunter, quick level 2 creep at the shop, which looks like a really good counterplay to the MK already.
Yeah, this is amazing. We have the potential to get a good item. We have the Circle of Nobility, of course, that's always purchased from the shop. It's a level 2 immediately for the first hero as well, which is great. And of course, Demon Hunter is just a better counter to MK compared to the Keeper, of course, who would struggle a lot against hero focus and dealing with the Storm Bolts on the human side. And yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see EleGaNt though go for another camp here. That's interesting. I thought normally that you would go straight across and harass the workers. We'll see if this proves to be the better move or not.
Yeah, he's not getting so much from this. He got the item, he didn't get close to 3, and this was a lot of free time in the early game for Starbuck. The natural is crap, the peasants can start the expansion in a moment, and the Demon Hunter is playing this extremely passively.
Is this an attempt to get a fast level 3 Demon Hunter?
Oh, Stormbolt. Not in time to get the steal, but he's going for the demon right away. A bash maybe for a TP. TP he will have to do regardless. Oh! Or just die to the Stormbolt. What the hell?
Wait, the creeps denied it though.
Yeah. Wow, what a lucky
So
break
weird,
for
dude.
Starbuck. EleGaNt plays so weird. Like, sometimes so well and other moves so strange. Like, just simply, if he had gotten level 2, ran up north with level 2 and the 2 items, he would have done so much damage at the harass. But no, he just creeps and then loses the hero. It's very unique.
Inexplicable would be the word I would have used, but unique is certainly the PC way of putting that, that's for sure. I just feel like being so passive in the early game is not in the Ninetale's best interest. He wasn't going to get level 3 anytime before the human pressures you. The expos come up completely for free on Starbuck's side. He can tech very soon. He's going to have a much, much quicker tech than the previous game. And EleGaNt, of course, losing the hero. Thankfully, the XP didn't go towards the side of the MK, who would be almost level 2 by now, level 3 by now. But still, a lot of resources wasted for EleGaNt, a lot of time, and no damage dealt.
Yeah, it was really, though, where the playmaking units came rather into the game, later into the game, where EleGaNt started to pick up steam. When the Pandas showed up, when the Bears and the Dryads showed up, that's when he can really look for his openings. Oh! He cancelled the Hunter's Hall, fake Hunter's Hall, into maybe some Talon all-in right here.
Yeah, potentially with like a proxy shop. Oh, Naga as well, of course. This is going to be a lot of archer pressure. Do we even have improved bows? No, we don't. Not so sure. This isn't looking like the deadliest push. We don't have Ancient of Windfall up. There's only 4 archers available. No improved bows. It's not the scariest elf push in the world. And of course, EleGaNt is investing into that proxy shop too. It's quite a bit of time.
The footy saw it. Sees the proxy shop. That's a big tell. And the Mountain King had the time to get level 3 here, I think. Yep, one more creep will be good enough.
We got the boys as well. Throws the ball and runs away straight away. That's kind of funny. Starbuck is a bit bruised here after creeping the shop, of course. With MK, you have to tank the camp so often with that hero himself. Needs a little bit of time here just to regenerate up before committing to a big attack.
And here's the MK. First hammer flies. Don't have a second one at the moment. He is out of mana. Same for the demon. The Arcane Tower is doing its thing. Here comes the Ancient of Wind. Do we have 1 or 2? Only 1. Improved bows now in the works. But Starbuck already teching. He's got a second barracks coming. He can call a lot of militia. Sort of. Starbuck in a very good position here.
This has devolved into such a strange game, really. EleGaNt posed to be in a decent position with this opener, and instead ended up kind of bricking it. With the choice to continue creeping and not pressuring the human. Losing the Demon Hunter for free, getting the Hunter's Hall cancelled. Now we have 2 very late wins so few archers available as well. We see how many footmen are available to defend here for Starbuck. It's just amazing. Proxy wins, of course, the reinforcements will be there for EleGaNt as quickly as possible, but still, a lot of archers have gone down. Starbuck is feeling very comfortable right now, I'm sure.
Just mass footies for now. Those can backfire against you when you're facing off Talons. Talons have really good magic damage against those. But one blacksmith and you can quickly transition perhaps into rifles. MK now dropping low. Might be forced to TP, but those boots paying off again and again.
Boots and bash, what a wonderful combination. Sounds like a pub that the MK would be hanging out at for sure. It's a tried and true combination that's netted him so many kills so far. Look how many footmen there are just tearing all these archers to pieces. Naga's in threat of being surrounded as well with this many units on the front line for Starbuck. Feels like EleGaNt needs to really pull the ace out of the sleeve here to get some sort of advantage, because this is looking very grim for him indeed.
Your time is running out. Once the first couple of casters are out, that's it. It's game. Breakers counter Talons like there's no tomorrow. But we don't have casters yet. The lumber is a bit of an issue for Starbuck. He's having trouble with the macro. But with 2 towers standing at the expansion, there's still more time. And footies are buying even more time. He's been trying to get this Naga kill for a long while. Can get it now. Shortly before the staff.
Yeah, nicely done. Actually buying the staff on the Naga, there was very little hope of passing it to the Demon Hunter there before the kill is secured. Talon dropping there as well. Man, this is just an absolute wipeout right now.
What a confusing series. So many weird calls and decisions by EleGaNt. Sometimes they work out really well, and sometimes they really don't. Oh, and he pulls a dice, leaves the game. Alrighty. We're 1-1.
Surely you can't see chat because you were...
Yeah,
TV,
I wasn't full TV. I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Come on, man. You don't just brandish people with the...
Okay,
they
my
pull
bad.
the dice sign.
My bad.
Remo jail, please, in the chat.
Back to jail. Where I belong.
Are you in the game this time?
I did make it.
Smashing.
Just in time. Map number 3. It's our favorite. Twisted Meadows. I think we saw this... Oops. We didn't see this map at all of yesterday. But now it is time. And this could be an interesting one. Twisted Meadows. Who is to tell what will happen?
I think in theory there's so many possibilities for this matchup, but Elves in particular I feel it becomes so rigid and don't want to play Warden, for example, where I feel like this is a map where she usually shines. EleGaNt, I think, is certainly not known for that, though. If I were to hazard a guess, it's probably a Demon Hunter once again. And for Human, they also have options of going with either Archmage or Blood Knight, or Mountain King, sorry. I think after that success last game, Starbuck would be pretty tempted to go with the MK again.
I would love to see an Instant Expo. That would require an Archmage, though. Most likely. The thing is, on this map, you can, especially with these spawns, it is a 99% chance that the elf is going for the Merc Camp creep first, as we see here. This is going to keep him busy for a really long time. This could make for a very easy, fast expansion if Starbuck wants to try it. Has, of course, other downsides. It means that your level 3 is going to be hard to acquire. But getting that expansion up nice and early and finishing it maybe without even a couple of peasant losses can make for a great mid-game. Militia Scout, by the way. Starbuck wants to see early what's going on and make adjustments.
Also a proxy farm coming up as well. Starbuck here wanting to have access to as much information as possible. And yeah, Demon Hunter Archmage, once again. Probably the most standard combination we see these days. Starbuck here, can he steal this priest away? If he cancels the footman, there's a small possibility he can buy it, but it's going to be difficult.
It's very hard for the human to afford. You also have to halt peasant production for so long. He could do it.
Another one could be started though. Oh, Starbuck did steal it.
Did steal it. Alright, this is a great unit to get against the Demoner. Bit of healing.
This This is very difficult to manage though. You're looking at two different screens right now at Starbuck.
Yeah.
He had to pull the camp, try to creep the very difficult laboratory, and he wants to try and steal the rock golem away. Oh, and EleGaNt's not going to give him that. Nicely done by EleGaNt, of course, making sure that he does not surrender the last hit. And the pull did go well for Starbuck here. Managed to successfully do that as well. That was very tough, putting a lot of pressure on himself in the very first moments of the game here to not make a mistake.
Yeah,
Well
in a broadcast game as well. Like this is a very easy way to make people laugh at you. If the pull goes wrong, if Shadow Priest dies, if other things go wrong.
Yep.
And it wasn't a perfect creep. It's taking a long time here to take out the trappers, but it's good experience, and the Shadow Priest did survive. Very important. Can now heal itself up.
EleGaNt, in the meantime, getting the Cloak of Shadows, a pretty nice item actually on the Demon Hunter, to be honest. Can be very, very pesky with that indeed. Big Invo as well, probably the second best drop, potentially for EleGaNt. I'm not sure what he's doing resource-wise right now. Going for a 10th Wisp, and has so much money. This would suggest some sort of counter expansion, I feel, very early on, but... Oh, I just saw the resources go down. There we are. Tree of Life coming in the very south. EleGaNt finally is adapting his play here a little bit and going for an expansion. I like that.
Demon Hunter, though, right at the beginning, ready to harass this camp. How many peasants can he kill? How many lasses can he steal? Invo Potion committed early. Oh, Shadow Priest and Snare. That's an opportunity to take that one out. And Starbuck is kind of abandoning this one. Shadow Priest falls, and this is looking quite painful already.
It's just so tough to clear the expansion camp with the Demon Hunters right on top of you like this. I do like that Starbuck brought more militia very early on, but this last hit is absolutely crucial. It cannot go the way the Demon Hunter. No, it went the way the Demon Hunter. Oh man, that is absolutely brutal. I like the immediate reveal ahead of time, seeing the Demon Hunter at the cloak, but level 3 already on EleGaNt's side. With the counter expansion coming up, tech beginning, Starbuck here can't even start the expansion right now.
It's a lot of footmen. That counterattack could do something. AM is close to 3, but the Demon Hunter is already level 3. No circlets though, nothing to boost his stats, something that the Demon Hunter normally loves to get as well. And I would say I'm liking EleGaNt's position here. I'm liking it quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the only trouble now is, of course, holding this pressure that's soon coming his way. Oh, Starbuck's going to try and get level 3 first. I was expecting EleGaNt to run across with the boots and staff to kill peasants, and then telestaff home to defend.
Yeah, it seems like a mistake, honestly, not doing that. But it, you know, like, he could have had his cake and eat it too, by harassing the peasants and running home if needed. But he decides not to do it for some reason, and somehow it works out. Somehow he prevents AM level 3. That's what I'm talking about. He's making so many weird moves that sometimes work and sometimes don't, I guess.
I guess it worked out for the best, because Starbuck decided to not go pressure the main base immediately, instead taking a pit stop for level 3. And now the Demon Hunter has that tempo available to get on top of those peasants right now. And they are dying really fast against level 2 immolation right now.
Youch.
This is looking like an absolute disaster for Starbuck, unfortunately.
Oh my god, it's so many peasants dying. Yikes. I think the big mistake by Starbuck was, when he saw the Demon Hunter still committing to the expansion so early. He could have run around a bit, poked at him a bit, healed with the Shadow Priest, drop in lower HP, and wait for more peasants. There's a big difference if you creep this camp with 6 peasants or say 9 peasants. Militia, that is.
Go for the old concealed hill approach.
Yeah,
Just bring everything.
Oh, nice block though.
Very nicely done. This Demon Hunter's farmed up so much XP already, though 3.5 on his side. Starbuck not even close to beginning his tech, which is very, very late at this point, more than a minute late.
Oh, he went for a shredder before the tech? Why? You don't need the lumber right now, bro.
It feels a bit premature, honestly. Perhaps he needs it for base defense, though, at this rate. There are a lot of footmen, though, still on the side of Starbuck, and of course the Archmage is level 3. I feel like it would have been so much better to get the tech started right now. I don't know, man.
Yeah, this seems like a macro mistake to me. But it's a big map, dude. If he survives long enough, tier 3, tanks, triple hero, 3 bases, anything can still happen. But this early game, I would say, clearly favors our Night Elf player so far.
Yeah, I think it's if it gets there, I feel like Starbuck just needs to go like mass tanks or something like that. He's building a lumber mill and 2 more scout towers before starting the tech, and of course another scout tower expansion as well.
What?
Being ultra safe, but the elf is creeping. I'm very confused, honestly. The elf bought Panda, they didn't go for Naga, so they're more likely to be playing the long game here, especially on a map like Twisted Meadows. I feel like this base defense is a bit unnecessary at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like Starbuck is expecting a Dryad all-in. But that is definitely not happening. Now he's got more information. Now the footmen see the counter expansion. And Starbuck realized that these towers were not exactly necessary. The good thing, though, is he's got a shredder, so he's got endless lumber. So that's where he can afford towers fairly easily. And they might still be useful later. But the priority and the timing with which Starbuck is spending his resources seems a bit off.
Yeah, just a little bit. I wasn't a fan of the shredder purchase before the tech, for sure. This tech is really late for Starbuck, but actually EleGaNt doesn't have like the fastest tier 3 in the universe himself. That is something to be said, but of course the expansion is coming up pretty soon. The Archmage here really needs to try and use an elemental to get rid of the entangled, and I don't think EleGaNt is going to let him do that. It does have the added benefit though of pulling the Panda off of the camps, preventing him from creeping further. And actually the Demon Hunter is even here as well, so EleGaNt really wants to make sure that this entangled doesn't get cancelled, which I think is quite smart actually. It's easy just to think, oh, it's one Archmage and Elemental, he's not going to get the kill. But actually you want to be absolutely certain that that entangled does not get cancelled.
Oh wow, look at that Hippogriff timing.
Hippogriff.
He already had the Ancient of Wind, so this Zeppelin Harass does close to nothing. EleGaNt seems to... Like this game, all the moves are coming together. With the exception of the Demon Hunter movement, that one weird moment. But yeah, EleGaNt here seems to be showing up in style. And
one thing I'm impressed is EleGaNt's managed to make this work with only the 2 Moonwell tech in the early game, and then the 3rd Moonwell was added post-tech, and he's still on 3 Moonwells. I'm really surprised that 3 has been enough to sustain all the damage and mana, of course, that the Demon Hunter has used up to this point. I would have thought that he needed at least a 4th Moonwell as well, but it's all working out so far.
Yeah, true. EleGaNt seemingly in an amazing position here. He's got the expansion mining, making a shop at the expo. That is quite unusual.
Definitely a bit strange, but not the worst thing at the end of the day. Does cost essentially 150 gold, which is a little bit expensive, but certainly a useful base defense. Ahead of time, Orb of Venom and Staff of Preservation on the side of the Demon Hunter has been unlocked, and the Panda here, well on his way to level 3, should get it after this little green camp here. Starbuck, Mountain King second for him, and casters potentially. We have 2 workshops and the Arcane Sanctum. Pretty interested to see what combination is going to be coming here.
Yeah, with double workshop, I can't help but feel that it has to be tanks. I mean, for what else would you need double workshop? But that is something that shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. Despite the fact that tanks are a lot weaker nowadays, we still see them regularly in this matchup.
Forces are under attack.
And to me, it looks like Starbuck is just grasping for straws, not aware of really what he's supposed to do. And don't blame him, because I don't know what he's supposed to do either. This is looking tough.
Yeah, it really feels like his options are limited at this point. Especially when you have no advantages from the early game and are playing from behind. You have to wait so long for the tier 3 to come online. Actually, that workshop isn't even coming up at the bottom here. The Demon Hunter, once again, in the peasants' faces. Oh, the Mountain King in the meantime getting surrounded. Again, being attacked in 2 places at once. Losing track of what's going on in Starbuck. Unfortunately, the base here is just getting torn apart by a level 3 Panda. Damn.
EleGaNt and again and again finds the positions to pressure. Knows where he can strike, where the opponent is vulnerable. Map 2 was a bit of a weird one, but other than that, it has been the theme here. Look for the point of weakness and apply pressure until the human breaks. Which seems like might not be too far off, because the Archmage in trouble has the TP. Will need to use it soon. But if the towers fall, the main base is broken, and that may as well be GG.
There we are. The last ditch attempt. Call to arms. There isn't a single peasant to respond to the call, I think. Oh, here they are. They're coming from the south to help.
Stormbolt?
Stormbolt? Oh my gosh. That was the one chance there to get that Demon Hunter kill. And EleGaNt was ready for that. That was impressive. And without getting that kill, look what happens. Oh, actually the Demon Hunter is a lot lower than I expected. But I still think it's going to be enough. There is a rejuvenation available on that bear.
Yeah, that is
Another shop as well.
Yeah, the third shop, exactly. And he's fighting for it. Heal potions here are actually pretty nice. Panda got one already. Oh, and isn't Rejuve just wonderful?
It's a beautiful thing, Remo. For all the Night Up and Jars out there. Such a great spell. Such great quality of life. Enables you to keep up the pressure so much here, and it feels like such a care package when your heroes are getting low, and then suddenly you have a bear coming in for rejuvenation. It's just the best feeling.
I remember when they had 2 Rejuves fresh out the lore. That was so BS.
that was tough times for everyone else, that's for sure. Oh, this next Breath of Fire just gonna clean up everything here. Starbuck here with his low-level heroes. There's no army to speak of, basically. We have 2 token knights here, basically trying to do something, but yeah. Starbuck here, pretty overwhelmed with his forces. The 2 tanks haven't even arrived at the base yet, Remo. They've not even served their purpose. Many King dies off to the side. It's safe to say Starbuck is well and truly broken here in this game 3.
It would seem so. The rest of the base going down, GG is called, and EleGaNt, I would say, proving to be the better player today. At least in their first match. Starbuck's gonna have a chance still in the lower bracket, and EleGaNt gets the honor of going up against the big boy. EleGaNt versus Happy. Gonna be our next match in the upper bracket.